Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where I'm constantly short on time. Today we are covering a Superman story I quite like, especially seeing how bad yesterday's story was. Watch that video. Superman number 12, the second story, The Suicide Murders. A story that kind of sounds like something that was titled as a fake movie on 30 Rock. Several rich men have died in what are apparent suicides. The only person who doesn't think they're suicides is, of course, Clark Kent, Superman, because of his superpowers. He can actually see evidence showing that they were not suicides, but actually murders. But, Superman's powers are not admissible as evidence in a court of law. At least no sane judge or district attorney is going to allow that crap. So Clark publishes a story that claims that these are all murders. Perry is unhappy about the story being published. Hey, Perry, you're the editor-in-chief. You were supposed to have other editors who delegate that job that should have cut this article and not allowed it to be published. And if it went through them, you should have double-checked the paper and maybe talked to your lawyers about this article. If anyone's to blame right now, it's mainly you. You do know that's what the editor-in-chief does. The police call and threaten a lawsuit against Clark and the paper if they don't retract the story, but Clark says he can prove that this is actually murders, and Perry just lets him have this. I've seen him fire people for less. A brother of a victim comes to see Clark and says that he believes that his brother was murdered and wasn't a suicide, so they're going to go out to lunch. As soon as they're out on the street, the supposed brother, because he's not actually the brother, pushes Clark into the streets by the oncoming traffic. Clark then does what I can best describe as breakdancing moves to miss every single vehicle heading at him. This guy who pretended to be the brother seems to get away, even though he is Superman. Superman, bright blue costume, red cape, can fly really fast, has X-ray vision, super hearing. He should be able to find this guy pretty quickly, but he doesn't. And immediately returning to the Daily Planet, another guy comes in, claiming to be a cousin to one of the victims. Clark doesn't believe him immediately because he can see that his beard is fake. Turns out the guy is actually being truthful, and he's just an actor who is really taking method acting to a ridiculous level to just go outside to talk to reporters about how he believes his cousin's suicide was a murder and still wearing the makeup. There is an appropriate time for this. So with Clark attacking him, he threatens a lawsuit against the paper again, and Perry is not happy still. That one's more on Clark Perry. And also, we seem to be trying to show that Clark is not very smart. He's constantly being outsmarted in this story, and it's more to do with him being uncharacteristically dumb than the criminal element being smart. Though, he is smarter than the usual mobster. And yes, this is a mob story, but it's a mob story I kind of like. Notice how there seems to be a lack of the mob so far. We cut away from this and go to two business partners. One is in debt for $25,000. The other partner threatens to go to the police about this if he doesn't pay it off and send him to jail. As soon as that partner leaves, some mobsters come in saying that they could make his partner's death look like an accident, where he can claim the insurance on his partner, paying back his debt. All he owes them is $10,000 if they do it. He sadly agrees to it, so he's going to be an accessory to murder. That's even a bigger crime than the whole debt thing. They cut the partner's brakes, and the partner loses control of its car on one of the many windy mountain roads in Metropolis. I haven't brought this up all the other times a car has gone off one of these roads, but how many mountainous roads with no railing up God knows how high are there in Metropolis, a city? Or is it all the same windy road? Now that's an interesting idea. If it is the same windy road, why doesn't Superman just build a rail guard at this point? I don't know when those came into effect, but there needs to be something on this windy road at this point. Like 3 or 4 cars have gone off that Superman has had to catch. And he catches this one, and he immediately fixes the car because he knows how to fix cars. Actually, that's not unbelievable for Superman. He has worked on a farm where he had to probably fix tractors. I have no problem with this. I have no joke. I have no complaint. It entirely works for him. Though, he can definitely see that the car's brakes have been cut, and he doesn't seem to decide to investigate this more. Like, you know, this guy had a partner who he's threatening to send to jail for a debt. I mean, that's motive, but no, he doesn't ask any questions. He lets this guy go on. But luckily, he's going to have another chance. We meet the leader of these mobsters who saves this multimillionaire who has lost all his money. He's about to commit suicide, but instead, you know how they've been faking suicides? He wants to make the suicide look like an accident so his family gets insurance money. And all he wants in return is a small payout of that, which the guy kind of agrees to because, yeah, I mean, it sucks to commit suicide, but here he leaves his family with something. Clark is told to go report on the story, and this has one of my favorite comments from Clark. Perry tells him to do the story on the multimillionaire who's lost his fortune, and Clark says, yeah, that's entirely relatable to our readership. He's not wrong, and great for Clark to be kind of F you to the rich guy. He doesn't feel sorry for him at all. That's wonderful. I complain that Superman can be cold, but that's not cold. It's just, why? Why do I have to do this story? It shouldn't be newsworthy. Clark shows up to see the accident about to happen, which he's suspicious about, becomes Superman, saves him. Luckily, the multimillionaire has decided not to commit suicide, backed out right there in the last second, and is glad to be saved. He explains to Clark what's going on, so Superman stays there for a while until the mobster shows up. He grabs the mobster and leaves him on top of a steeple, another thing he seems to do quite a lot, until the guy tells him where the leader is. Though he does leave him on top of that steeple. We have to assume he eventually comes back and saves these guys, right? Or else they're going to fall to their death. And we know Superman's not like that. Okay, he's kind of like that right now, but he can't be entirely like that. He finds the leader of the mob, and what I will say about this guy, proving that he is at least somewhat smarter than the rest of the mobsters we've ever met, he A, recognizes Superman right away, and B, goes, well, I can't do anything against Superman. I'm going to run for it. No, just shooting his gun empty and being flabbergasted about the bullets not doing anything. No, he runs for it. And the story's basically over at this because running is definitely a smarter move. It's just still, you can't do anything about Superman. He's going to catch you. And he rips open his car and grabs him and takes him to jail, where he admits to everything and proving Clark is right. So Clark is vindicated at the end, though Lois wants to point out that Superman did most of the work. Yeah, he did, in both ways, Lois. So yeah, I don't hate this story. It's not like the most amazing story, but I found it entertaining. It's kind of a mystery, but not really a mystery. It has like no suspects. It just kind of gets solved by random happenstance. But it is Superman dealing with things that kind of challenge him. He has to be uncharacteristically dumb for that to be true, but it's still a challenge for him. And I'll take that over whatever last episode was. And that is it from Superman number 12, part 2, The Suicide Murders. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or the main Batman series. And until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? Also, why couldn't Superman catch up onto the fake brother? He's Superman. I mean, it's not a huge problem, but still. There's a lot of stories he can solve quicker than they actually end up being. Have a great day.